Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another Premier League review show, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed out here, and we are here to talk English Premier League. And thank God Liverpool have not played. So no one can say no smart ass comment back to me. So today, I am the happiest as I've ever been as a host because no one can say a word to me because I ain't played yet. So today, we're going to talk about Arsenal's title race that's hanging by a thread, um, which we're going to speak on now in a second. We're going to talk about City demolishing. I have forgot who they played, but they demolished somebody. We're going to be talking about Brighton coming to Stamford Bridge and just dunking on Chelsea's head top. And of course, Spurs just being Spursy, Bournemouth dunking on them, the Cherries. At least I lost away from home. They lost at home. That's horrible. So guys, everyone watching us right now or on the replay, because I know a whole lot of you guys like to watch this on the replay. You guys already know what to do. Make sure you slap the likes. Make sure you subscribe to This Football if you're ready to do so. Every single person watching us right now, please like, subscribe. And big up everyone for their support on the month of March and April. You guys have been absolutely elite, alhamdulillah. So big up to you guys. Big up the comment section. Let me big up the regulars. Big up Eric 7 Hagendas. Big up Ilya, Captain Sal, Momo. Big up to Tarun. Big up to FR. Big up to Jack O'Lantern, my guy. Big up to my guy as well, the Teranga Lions. Big up to the football enthusiast Usman. Big up to Ilyas Dale. Big up to Sir. I'm not gonna read that name out loud. That's humiliating. Big up to Lewis. Big up to Tariq. Big up to Spirits. Big up to Queen Nadra Muhammad. Big up to AJ, my guy. Big up to Blade Runner. So everyone, Domo, big up Thunder Road. Slap the like button, subscribe. And everyone's so happy that Hamza ain't on the panel, specifically the Arsenal fans. But we got enough ammunition from Ops today to deal with Arsenal Football Club. And speaking of Arsenal Football Club, let me introduce the first panelist. This guy has been going through a roller coaster. You know, he's been getting into a fight with someone on the terrace every single post-match stream. And today, he's back on This is Football, trying to explain why he went to West Ham and couldn't beat them. So joining us on the channel is the man himself. We've seen us work together before 100 million times. Man like Igal, how are you doing, bro?
I'm a little under the weather, and my team made me even worse, so it's okay. But if you see me muting my mic, it's because I'm probably coughing.
Big up, Igal, man. Big up.
No,
Helping him to fight his Arsenal cause is a man that never hides. According to himself, he's here for the defeats before he's even here for the wins. This man represents Arsenal to the fullest on the spaces, on TikTok, on YouTube. You see him doing his thing. And today he's here to back Igal because I've got 4 other wolves waiting in the background ready to jump on Arsenal Football Club. So I just gave them a little bit of support. So joining us on the channel is none other than the man himself, man like GK Gunner King. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. Tough result today, but can't complain other than that, man. Yeah, man.
I'm glad you're happy, my brother. I'm glad you're happy. Big up to you. Big up to you, man. Also, there's another club in the mud. They're actually top of the league, but the bottom table league because they're 11th. So you get it? Like they're the top of the bottom label league. They lost at home again to Brighton and De Zerbi. They took the entire Brighton camp to Stamford Bridge just like 6 months ago. And Brighton have done the double over them. So coming on here trying to explain what the hell is going on at Chelsea is none other than the man that's always representing Chelsea on this panel, where I don't even have to ask him if he's free. I'm just like, see you at 11. Man like Andrew, how are you doing, bro?
I'm not ill, but my team just makes me sick. So that's so listen, let's just get on with this. The sooner this is over, the better for me. Do you know what I mean? Let's get the other 2 on. I just take your time.
I'm glad you're happy as well, Andrew. Joining us on the channel is the biggest bottle job in London as well. We can't even see his face fully right now. That's how much he's bottled it. I think he's just embarrassed to show his face publicly after Bournemouth came to his own backyard and scored 3 goals. Now you know what you might say, Hussam, have some self-awareness. You lost to Bournemouth. Yeah, but at least I can stay away from home. I didn't lose to them at Anfield. He lost to them in his own backyard. So joining us on the channel is London's biggest embarrassment. They're being offered top 4 on a plate and they're refusing to take it. Alan, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. My team sucks. I'll just stay down here. Yeah, tough at the moment. We're not being handed it on the silver platter at all, let's be honest, but we're just fucking shit as well. So we'll get into it. But depressing times.
Yes, sir. You are shit indeed. Big up to you, Alan. So joining us on the channel as well. The two on the channel right now on the panel left are both winners. So we are the 5 losers right now. Big up the 5 losers on the panel right now. The 2 that are about to join us are 2 of the winners this week. So first, let me introduce this guy. This guy is already locked and loaded. Been cooking Arsenal fans from the morning on the spaces. Been telling them how much he misses the Liverpool fans. You know, because the Liverpool fans actually had real conversations with him regarding the title race. Always Canada represent. Just because he has North American accent does not mean he's American. You uncultured swine. He's Canadian. So joining us on the channel is man like Vader Games. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm smelling some blood. Smell victory.
Carpets, then, man.
Is what?
You smelling blood?
I'm smelling blood in the water. I'm smelling fear. I'm smelling victory. There's a lot of things I'm smelling recently. But happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show, man. It's a nice Sunday. It's a very nice Sunday.
It's a nice Sunday indeed because we haven't played. And also, finally, last but not least, the man went to Nottingham Forest and beat them for the 4th time this season. Oh, hooray! They beat Nottingham Forest. Who gives a shit? So joining us on the channel is Man United represent. I think he's probably more excited for the other sections of the show than even the United section. Man like Neeks is joining us on the channel. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Having a bit of some technical difficulties. So here I am on my phone in this bad setup. But we won. We won. All the other so-called teams in the race with us, the so-called race for top 4, it's not a race for me. They lost.
I was going to say we're not in that race, but
I'm not talking about Spurs and Newcastle. You know, those teams around there. Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6. It's a good Sunday.
Man said Lakers in 6. You ruined it, man. You support the Lakers and Man United. I don't like
I
the
support LeBron James. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate LeBron James. That's why I hate the Lakers. I like Kobe. I'm a Kobe guy. But anyway, big up to you guys. Listen, 152 people in here already. We ain't even started yet. Slap up the likes, subscribe, run them likes up, my lovely people. Subscribe to this football. Keep getting involved in the comment section. I see all the happy ass City fans in the comments. Igal, it's your time to explain your club's crimes against football today at the London Stadium. So the people want to address what's going on at Arsenal Football Club.
Last week, you guys called it a bottle job. You're a little bit wrong. Today, you can fully call it a bottle job. We were up 2-0, 10 minutes in, and I feel like from there, we capitulated defensively. We missed William Saliba, and today it shows more than ever. People are saying, oh, you can't blame Rob Holding. I'm not blaming Rob Holding. I'm just saying Saliba makes that big of a difference with our composure on the ball and everything else. And then there's no referees to blame. There's no nothing. We made our own mistakes. People are dissecting the penalty. You know what? With or without the penalty, we had our own opportunity to win it. Bukayo Saka missed the penalty. And I'm not going to blame Bukayo Saka at all, like some people are. Some people are going a little bit too far saying, oh, Bukayo Saka missing the penalty is the reason why you lost or the reason why you dropped points. No, first of all, we didn't lose. The reason why we dropped points was not on Bukayo Saka by himself. It's on a lot of people. Defensively, we made a lot of errors. Offensively, we're not clicked on, and we lacked the intensity that we had at the beginning of the game. To go 2-0 up in 10 minutes and to capitulate and have conceded 2 goals by the 55th minute mark, that's on us, and we can't blame anybody else but ourselves. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Well, I expect better from them. I personally think it's unacceptable. We cannot be continuing at this level thinking that we're gonna be able to win anything if we're gonna drop points from that position. And we could accept the Liverpool draw, but this is unacceptable, from my opinion. It's crazy. I'm not here to make it sound like it's okay or or paint it in a right bow. I don't think anybody is gonna paint this as a good thing at all.
GK?
I agree with a lot of what you guys said. I think what's annoying is we put ourselves in a position where the game looked like a foregone conclusion. And after the second goal went in, I was thinking, when's the third coming? When's the fourth coming? Because we were in that ascension. But then I really do think that result against Liverpool affected us, where it was the exact scoreline. It would have almost been better to have gone up just 1-0 or to have got that third goal. So it's like, right, okay. But I think the psychological effect of it was 2-0 last week at Anfield and we messed it up, I think that crept into the heads of those players. And I think some of them were affected by that. And I think others thought, this is West Ham, we're coasting. It should be easy. So I think there was a mixture of both nerves and complacency, within those players. And the unfortunate thing is, I think, with City winning yesterday, putting the pressure on us to obviously mirror that result. Now City fans will be thinking that, I think with the Anfield result, it's easy. They went there, they didn't get anything. A lot of teams have gone there. United went there, held 7. People have only lost there once, so it's like fair enough. Like Arsenal did well to walk away with anything from that. But you look at the record that we've got against West Ham. Like we beat them. We tend to get favourable results against them. You look at where they are in the league at the moment. You look at how they're performing this season relative to how we are, and it can only be considered 2 points dropped. And now we've got City next in the league. And, in terms of the last 2 performances, we can't afford to be in that situation and, capitulate in the way that we have against West Ham again, because it could prove costly. I don't think the league's over yet, but obviously I do think that this needs to be a serious wake-up call, and we can't really afford to drop any more points. I don't think.
I want to know what is this sharks? Why are there always sharks in the like all these shark emojis? I need Vader to explain to me where the hell did sharks come from?
Big Steve, innit?
We've been sharks. We've been sharks for a minute now. Pep arrival, the first title win
Just look
under
at
his
this guy's
name.
smile.
We were
Just
sharks.
look at his smile as he speaks.
No.
Look at his
calm,
smile. You can tell, bro. You can
No,
tell
I need to understand. I need to understand what the significance of a shark having to do with City, because there's no relevance in your team. Maybe it's the color of your team's logo.
No, listen.
No, it was Big Steve that gave that speech, innit, saying that
Bro, sharks, like the biggest animal in the water. Obviously, the most dangerous animal in the
great
water.
white shark is an alpha predator.
The most dangerous animal in the water. I don't think that
And
needs explaining, Miguel.
You have a shark that's chasing you down in the waters right now.
You're bleeding.
And there's just a drop of blood that we've seen. You've been nicked. These 2 draws that have happened, you've been nicked. There's blood in the water, and we're now pursuing you. That's the shark analogy with regards to City. We've been sharks in this league for a minute now. You just haven't been, no disrespect, you haven't been in this title run, so you didn't know the shark analogy, but the shark has been us for a long time.
No. First of all, I'm not an idiot. I get the analogy, people. First things first, right? Number 2, I was just thinking that maybe there was something more deeper than just an analogy, and it was actually something significant to do with City, because I'm seeing it everywhere. So I'm just wondering
Gotcha.
if it's actually
there's no sharks in Manchester.
I think when Big Steve used the analogy in some of his content, it's become like prominent, amongst the whole City fan base. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough.
Can I just say
everyone else? Sultan says your title's in trouble. Bukayo's in the room. I can't lie. Like I hear where the guy's coming from. Like don't blame Saka and stuff. But we do have to address like Saka, because he's had 2 crap games in a row.
This is it, Hassan, because about 2 games, prior to 2 games ago, it was world class Saka, world class this, world class that, and comparing to wingers who have done it at the Champions League level, who've won Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, etc. Now this is the moment for him to show it. It's not even about necessarily who you're coming up against, but it's the question. The statement would be, well, he's done it in the Premier League. What means he can't do it against Club Brugge in the Champions League? Well, that's not what we're saying. It's not about who you're playing. It's about when you're playing. What's on the line when you're playing them. West Ham at the end of the season is as important as Man United at the start of the season, if not more, because that's when the pressure is really on. And yes, it doesn't mean he's not going to become potentially a world-class player, but in the last 2 games, he has disappeared after about 10 minutes, both against Liverpool and both against West Ham. And that's something, I guess, that he will learn, but it's also something for Arsenal fans to take stock of and say, yeah, let's not put our young players on this pedestal before they've proven that they deserve to be on that pedestal.
Look, if I may respond to that, like, look, I've said I think Saka's probably just below that world-class level. But what I will say is, you know, even world-class players have bad games. Like, let's not get this twisted here. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's easy to lose perspective over 2 games. And I think it's important to remember that Saka as a player, not just this season, but in the previous 1, 2, 3 seasons, has dug us out of foxholes. And he's the one that's consistently game in, game out being played. And unfortunately, there's a lack of rotation on that side, which means that he is playing, you know, probably more minutes than he should be for someone his age. When you consider when you consider he's doing the same for England, I do think I've said for a long time I think he needs a rest. I think, like, in terms of to keep performing at your best level, it's, you know, like, it's better that you are kind of managed in a way that allows you to keep playing at that top level. And I think when you look at the difference between us and City, it is the fact that they can sort of, you know, rotate their squad. You know, they can rotate their deck to make sure that players like Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez, for example, players like Grealish, you know, when they're brought in and taken out, this is what allows them to stay at that optimal level. Do you know what I mean? The fact that they have that luxury. And unfortunately with Saka, you know, when you consider since he's broken into the team until now, he's not been afforded that luxury. So I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to get into
1 game a week.
Yeah,
I know they got out of every competition.
But again, what I'm saying is, Nick, sorry, in the context of, like, since he's broken into that team, yeah, like, obviously if we look at Liverpool last season, they played 63 games, yeah, and then obviously the hangover from playing that many games has clearly affected them. Do you know what I mean? Like, Saka has been left in that team, barely changed, barely rotated, and for me, it's not sustainable. Because you will get these periods, you'll get these long periods.
But GK, when he's being compared to the likes, you know, talking about best world class, best player in that position in the world.
Just say Salah, man. Just say Salah.
It's not even Salah, because the point that was but the point that was made was regarding his age. But look at someone like Vinicius Junior, who has done it at the Champions League level. Excuse me.
Vinicius Junior has not been as consistent in his league form.
Vinicius Junior is world class. Saka hasn't done anything incomparable to Vinicius Junior, and they're similar ages. That's the point I'm making. Age is not.
But then it's very easy to say that, Nick. But if you compare the Real Madrid team, and if you compare the Real Madrid management, and you compare, no, it's not. Ego, no, it's not. Sorry, Ego. Let me finish. Ego, let me finish if I may. Ego, let me finish if I may. Sorry. Like, if you compare the two, there is no comparison. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to weigh it. If you're gonna just come on here and just be like whatever and not weigh in with context, then fine. Like, we can do that. But like statistically speaking, and even watching him on the ice, Saka has been a top performing winger this season. Like, there is a handful of wingers that have been performing to his level this season. Like, I'm not saying that because I think he's world class. I'm just saying that because objectively it is true. Like, you would be counting on one hand the amount of wingers that this season have performed to his level, and you would struggle to
being one of the best performers. Being the best performers in a season, you know, we're talking 8-9 months at the moment. It's not the same as world class. That's the point I'm making. It's not the same as being
1
world class.
second.
World
You don't
class is something that
classify
you
him as
prove
world class
over.
But I
World class
think you
is something
guys
you
both
prove over.
agree. I think you guys are both saying Saka ain't world class anyway. Like, I don't think
No,
anyone's making the argument that
yeah.
he's world class.
The
Because
thing is,
but the one thing, let me just say one thing, Igal. I think the one thing that's unfair that you guys are saying is that he played too much football because, as Nick said, and as the comments have been saying as well, like, to be fair, you are out of all other competitions. So you just play one game a week. I don't think that's too much football at this moment in time. The last game he played pre this one was the Liverpool game. There's no Europa League, no FA Cup, no
No,
Carabao
but I'm talking about it more from the perspective of since he's broken into that team. Yeah, if you look at season on season, he played 37 Premier League games last season, and if you look at the other seasons, from when he broke in, like for someone his age, they should not be doing that much. Even if you look at Man City by contrast, Foden absolutely has the quality to start game in, game out for Man City. But even Pep's like, he's not at that age where that's sustainable. So you see him managing him in a way where I have other players in this squad, so I can rotate the deck to make sure that he stays fresh, to make sure that when he does play, he is playing at that optimal level because he has been better managed and more suitably rested. And do you know what I mean? And kind of, it's not just the physical side that I'm talking about; it's the mental side. And if anything, the mental side is more that more puts a player's quality at detriment. Do you know what I mean? When mentally, like game in, game out, without any rest, they're the ones. And the thing is, Saka's the one that all of our hopes have been resting on. When Foden comes into that team, it's not the club Man City that's being put on his shoulders. Because he's got KDB there, do you know what I mean? He's got Diaz there, he's got now Haaland, you know what I mean? He's had, Gundogan there, there's a plenty of Rodri there, you got Walker there, you got Edison there, you got Pep, the manager there. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like with Saka, when he's been playing, he's the guy that we look to. Do you know what I mean? He is the hope, he's the talisman, and at that age, that's freakish. Do you know what I mean? And when you're considering that he is becoming he's been considered undroppable. Like that's not healthy for a 21-year-old.
Why is
you will have low periods like this because of it.
I just want to say this.
will.
I feel like we're having two different conversations at the same time. One, you can have a bad game here and there, right? It's not a problem. You can miss a penalty. These things happen. It's the second penalty miss of his career, let alone anything else.
When was his first?
The Euros.
At the Euros.
Did he miss 2 penalties in the most critical, most pressured moments?
You could technically say Liverpool was a pressure moment. You could technically say Man United was a pressure moment. Any game
there's no pressure moments in October.
1 second. Any pressure, any moment you miss a game or you miss a penalty in a game where it can decide if you win or lose, or if you go up 3-2 or something like that, is a pressure moment. So to say he missed 2 penalties in the most pressure moment is a ridiculous statement, because you're basically saying he missed 2 penalties in his career, and those 2 penalties are the biggest ever penalties, but you're not looking at the weight and the factors of the other penalties that he's taken. Now, forget about the penalties for a second. Neek's going back to a world-class statement. Neek's, let's be honest, you don't even classify him as world-class. You're just arguing and debating the fact is people saying, oh, if he's world-class players have bad games. World-class players still have games where they don't perform well. The best players in the world still have off times. Let's be honest. Mo Salah, who Husam wanted to talk about as a comparison, will have a season where he scores 35 plus goals and still go missing for like 4 or 5 games. You'll see that on a regular basis. You'll have players who are world-class who still have poor games where the rest of the quality of their team is able to lift them up. We had Bukayo Saka go on international duty, and since coming back from international duty, he had a 30-minute performance versus Leeds. He had a Liverpool game where, let's be honest, if Martinelli was able to pass the ball to him properly, he would have been through on goal in the final minutes of the game. Who knows what would have happened there?
Well, I don't know if he scored that.
What was his performance before that, though?
I agree. I'm just saying, who would know what would happen there? What was his performance before that? I don't think he was that bad against Liverpool. I think you guys are.
Come on, Egal, man.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think
he was bad against us. He was probably worse against us than he was today. Come on,
that's not actually accurate. If you look at it, he picked up a yellow card and he actually created like 3-4 chances. If I'm not mistaken, he had a clear chance on goal at the end of the game, which was not passed to him properly. And in the final third, he was there for He was there. He was there making a difference. You guys were The reason why Gabriel Martinelli was so open and Jesus was so open was because whenever Bukayo Saka had the ball, you guys would shift the defense over to him. Bukayo Saka is the focal point of every defense when we're defending against. Bringing it back to the Vinicius point. Vinicius has the benefit of playing with players in many different positions that are world class. You put Bukayo Saka in any team in world football, he'll be spoken about as world class. It's the fact that he's in an Arsenal team where a lot of the players are all in and around the same age and are all on the cusp of getting closer and closer to their prime. Then you're gonna say, oh, when he in a couple years' time, when either the whole team is developed to a level or he's somewhere else, that's when you're gonna finally say, oh, he's world class. But now you're not gonna say it because guess what? He's been doing it for 4 years. But you don't actually count the first 2 years because he didn't have the GA, and you guys don't even count last year because we didn't get top 4. So regardless, whatever he brings to the table this season, unless he wins the Premier League,
if Saka has 2 back-to-back world-class seasons, regardless whether he's at Real Madrid or Arsenal, whether he wins the Premier League or no, for me, he's world-class. This is his first world-class season. Because his first 3 years may have been Arsenal's best. His first 3 years may have been good for a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, but they weren't world-class. He may have carried Arsenal. He may have carried Arsenal, but Arsenal weren't a top team that carrying them means anything. It's like I don't know, James Ward-Prowse carrying Southampton for argument's sake to exaggerate a point. If you're carrying a team at the top of the league or top in the cup competitions, excuse me,
you did exaggerate the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To exaggerate a point, the point I'm making is that carrying a team, being the best player in a team who's 8th, doesn't necessarily make you world class, but you can have a world class season for a team that's 8th. For me, he hasn't had a world class season until now. If you come second this season and second next season, but he has similar seasons back to back, he's world class. I'm not saying Vinicius is world class because he plays for Real Madrid. I'm saying he's world class because he's had world class seasons and world class moments in those big games.
Okay, guys, let's let Alan speak because he's been fighting for his life. Go on, Alan.
In regards to Saka, I mean, before these last 2 performances where he has dips and all that, all we heard was how he's one of the best players this season. He's this, that, and the other. And because he's underperformed in 2 games, it's all like, let's make excuses for him. Oh, he's been overplayed and all that, and it's just an excuse. You've got players.
Alan, I've been saying the same thing. I've been saying the same thing for months, bro. So no, I'm not making excuses. I've been saying the same thing for months, bro.
It doesn't apply to you. Let it fly. Don't get defensive if it's not you. I'm saying it in general, Arsenal fans. So in regards to that, you can have 2 bad performances and not be a bad player. It's just coincided with Arsenal, what looks like feeling the pressure in the fact that they were comfortable against Liverpool, and that mistake by Xhaka, letting the Liverpool crowd get up, made it worse. But it's true, made it, and then Arsenal started to think like that. But in regards to previous, Arsenal have had bad performances and then bounced straight back. It's the first time where they've looked just as shaky. As soon as you got to 2-0 and then that penalty happened, you looked a shadow of your former selves. And I think you're now starting to feel the pressure. If you can get a result against Man City and bounce back, I think you'll win the league. And I hate saying that. But all I've heard in the last 24, 48 hours, the last 24, 48 hours, even before the game and all that, was people start making excuses for players and all that. No, you've got to this point in the season where you are. Saka, in a crucial moment, Saka bottled it in the penalty. Let's not get that. Now, I know exactly what the Arsenal fans are going to come back. Kane bottled it for England. I didn't have no defence for Kane. I crucified him on my own channel. Go back and have a look. He bottled it in a crucial moment. These players are doing that because they're a young team and they're starting to feel pressure from a City team that are well renowned for being able to sustain pressure and make teams crumble and not be caught like they did with Liverpool the last 2 seasons in higher points tallies.
The thing is, though, Alan, most Arsenal fans have been saying in the January window, in the summer, last season, they've been saying what I said for a minute. You just haven't been listening to them. That it's simply not sustainable for Saka to not have competition to develop, because then he starts thinking, even if I drop a stinker, I'm going to get picked again because there's no better alternative. And number 2, in terms of his conditioning, it's not sustainable for him to not have competition. Now we've gone and got that on the other side with Trossard. Yeah, with and you know Jesus can play on that side, ESR can play on that side, but the way that we like to play with the inverted winger system, because there is no viable alternative with a left foot, we brought Marquinhos in as if to kind of address the idea, yeah, but which kind of reinforces what I'm saying, yeah. So it's not nothing new because otherwise we wouldn't have bought Marquinhos. But what happened was we bought Marquinhos and we discovered that he's not ready to even be the deputy, so we got to send him out on loan. So I don't
Bro,
get why you're saying that
just
we're making
make sure right
excuses
there.
because
Okay,
Arteta
guys,
wouldn't have
just give
even
me a
bought
second because I
Marquinhos
think this
if he
conversation.
felt that Saka could just be that
Put
only
him
squad
away, yeah.
player
Okay,
in that
I-
position.
I agree, Hassan.
Because
I
Arsenal
agree.
One
fans
second,
have been
guys.
saying,
Time out.
listen, if it doesn't apply
Time out,
to you,
one
that's
second.
fine. The Arsenal
Hello,
fans
okay,
have
guys,
been
hear me. Hello,
Guys,
hello,
most
hello.
Arsenal
saying,
fans.
Hello, okay,
Yes,
guys, hear
yes,
me.
I can
Hello.
hear you.
One second. Time out, please. Listen, it's too much into the Saka thing now. I want to bring
Yeah.
it back what Alan was heading into, which is the title race. And in the context of the title race is a lot more important. You get me? Because now we're not going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about Bukayo Saka when we're all agreeing and just going around in circles for no reason whatsoever. The only point we disagree on is the knackered part. Some people agree, some people disagree. Let's just move on. Arsenal and the title race. Now that's more
What's that?
important.
Can I say something on the title race quickly?
Yeah, but let's just let Andrew
you
first
as well.
because he hasn't spoken yet.
Uh-huh.
Because you know he's in 11th, so maybe he's
Yeah.
not emotionally attached to this whole situation. So
No.
he just has an opinion from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
and big
as
up
an
Troops in the
outsider.
comments as well. Big up Troops, my brother. Big up to you. Go on, Winter.
Yeah, I just thought it was. I think the first 10 minutes, Arsenal were absolutely brilliant. They bopped West Ham off the park. I thought it was going to be 4-0, and then just the intensity went, and it was sort of like I don't know what it was. I know you said you maybe thought it was Liverpool, the Liverpool game previously. GK, you thought it was maybe the Liverpool game previously, and they went 2-0 up or something like that. Are you worried that? Are you worried that will affect you for the rest of the season? That you guys go 2-0 up in any game, and you'll get like Vietnam flashbacks to Anfield or something like that.
Yeah, I'm worried. I am worried that there is like a PTSD setting in that situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it is something you have to worry about when the vast majority of your squad are all younger players. But again, like Egal said, you know, like we've come back from setbacks. Do you know what I mean? We lost to Man United. Everyone was like, that was your first big test of the season, and you failed it. We went and won 8 games in a row after that. Do you know what I mean? We lost to Man City. Everyone said that your title race was over. We won 7 games in a row, drawn 2. It's easy to forget we haven't lost a game since then, you know. It is easy to forget that. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like, yes, it is 2 points dropped today. I do feel it's more so than Anfield because I will give the benefit of the doubt with Anfield being a difficult place to go to, specifically for us as a club as well. Yeah. But obviously the West Ham one is less excusable. And I do feel
the
that
problem is, GK, you're going to the Etihad next, which is worse.
No. We have Southampton next.
Yeah, but come on, you're gonna beat Southampton. Like, let's cut the crap.
But Hussam, this is important. We can't overlook any opponent. That's what I think we're doing. The mistakes we're making is we're being a little arrogant. When you're 2-0 up and you need to see out the game, close it out, you can't be doing flicks and tricks and doing all this other stuff. Now, I'm one of the people who back all the players a lot, but they've made 2 catastrophic errors in the last 2 games, which is a little bit cocky going into a situation when you're 2-0 up. You need to see out the game, treat it like it's still 0-0, and go and close it out. Not this stuff where we're trying to do flicks and tricks and everything else. Because it's some of our most experienced players in Xhaka who gets into a pushing fight with Trent. It's Partey who's trying to do a flick over somebody else's head. I'm not scapegoating them. I'm just pointing out little things that can affect you. And people are saying crumble. People say whatever you want. At the end of the day, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna say it's lapses in judgment, mistakes that are being made.
Neeks, one sec, Neeks. Because again, and I'm gonna be real with you, I haven't been paying attention to Arsenal the last 4 or 5 years. It's been Liverpool that's been stressing me out. Okay, have your players not been doing this? This flicks and tricks, is this different? Is this something new, or this is not the style of play that you're accustomed to seeing from them?
Bro, we don't do this when we're up 2-0 in the middle of the game. We don't do this even when we're finishing the game. We only really do this in like the final 2 minutes of a game when the game's over and we're just passing it around to each other.
So what do you think? What do you think the change is? Are you guys nonchalant? Are you thinking the league's wrapped up? Why are these players
10
doing
minutes,
that?
10 minutes, 1 second, 30 minutes into a game, when you're 2-0 up, you're not doing olays passing to each other.
I'm trying to understand, why are they doing it now? Because pressure has a weird effect on people. I'm trying to understand, why is Partey doing this now?
Overcompensating.
I'm just asking the question. I haven't been paying attention to you guys, so that's why I'm asking the question. Sorry, Nick, I know I cut you.
Look, I think really like we have to remember that this is a new situation. It's new territory for a large period, a large portion of our squad. Sorry, like in terms of like this business end. Yes, Arsenal historically have won league titles. Yes, we know what a title race feels like as a club. But in terms of like this crop of individuals, this iteration of Arsenal, they've not sniffed a title race. You know what I mean? They've not been here with this big blue shark in the waters behind them, chasing, sniffing blood. And I think also there was like with youth comes exuberance, right? And I think like they wanted to like really put on a show and show that the Liverpool situation was just a blip. And I just think they need to get accustomed to, like, in terms of the quality of the first 11, I think it's there. I think there's two things we need to do from here. Yeah, I think first of all, the quality of the second 11. I think a lot is not being said about Zinchenko being out today, and a lot of Arsenal fans crucified Zinchenko.
But many of them wanted him dropped for today.
How could he get nutmegged by Trent?
That's the thing. Like they wanted him dropped, to be honest. They wanted
he should be dropped from this game. And the thing is, you could see today the difference that he gives to that midfield when he tucks in and inverts, and how much that helps Partey. I think that had a domino effect on Partey in the midfield, where when Zinchenko is there, he's probably got a bit more time, a bit more space, and he's a bit more comfortable because Zinchenko's propping him a lot, you know, like when he's inverting into that midfield in transitions. And I just think these things showed naiveties that we need to iron out from the way that
don't you think sorry, Igal, quickly. Don't you think part of the problem?
I'm probably going to say the same thing as you. Go ahead.
No, I don't think we are. The first statement that you made when you had your at the beginning of the show, you mentioned, the Liverpool game wasn't necessarily a bottle, but you can call this one a bottle, and it's been referenced a few times in this show. Don't you think that that's part of the problem, in the sense of you threw? Let's make it no bones about it. You threw away a 2-goal lead. You bottled the Liverpool result. At the start of the game, you may well have taken a draw, but after how many minutes? It wasn't 2. I can't remember exactly. You were 2-0 up, and you should have won that game. Putting that, brushing that under the carpet as it's just Anfield, one of those things. We take a point. It's not really 2 points; it's a point gain. Don't you think that has some kind of effect going into this game, where if you, instead of looking at that result and the performance and what led to throwing away a 2-goal lead?
I'm sorry. I think what you've done.
If you look at that properly and say, this is what we did, we need to make sure we don't do this again. You don't end up back-to-back weeks against less opposition and actually throwing away a 2-goal in a title race. You can't throw away. You can't. Bro, you can't. Bro, let me finish, bro. You cannot throw away 2-goal leads.
Let him finish.
You cannot throw away 2-goal leads in back-to-back games in a title race, and looking at one result as one of those things results in the next one, like, because you didn't address the issues, you didn't actually look at the problems. It wasn't Anfield. It wasn't Anfield.
You've taken the narrative, yeah, and you've whittled it down and you've made it really simplistic, right? Like, so two things can be true at the same time, bro. Yeah, we didn't look at that game as just, it's Anfield, it's tough, like
that's all that. That's all the Arsenal fans said. 1 point game,
bro. Stop. please.
Wait,
Yeah,
you interrupted me for the last 30
What's
seconds,
going
and now
on
you're
here?
telling me, bro, stop.
So,
Hey, what's
so
going on there? Go on, continue anyway.
What I'm trying to say, yeah.
Continue.
I'm trying to answer your question, yeah.
Continue. You were trying to answer a question that I didn't even
you can-
finish because you
can look at it in
didn't
two-
want to get the point out. But sorry, please
Okay,
continue.
so finish the question then, bro. Finish the
No,
question.
continue.
You done? Yeah.
Continue.
So yeah, you can look at it in both ways, yeah. In a sense of, yes, it was 2 points dropped. We were in a position where we shouldn't have dropped it, and we need to not do that again going into next games. However, also in the context of one, Liverpool habitually beat the hell out of us at Anfield, yeah, habitually without fail, yeah. For the last 6 games before the beginning of this season, we hadn't even scored a goal against Liverpool, yeah, and now we've taken 4 points from them this season. So you have to look at it in both ways.
No,
yeah?
but that's not a context. Because in those seasons you were in a title race. The context is that you're in a title race. What happened last season, the season before, the season before, means absolutely nothing.
You went there and held
It means
7, bro.
nothing.
Yeah, you held 7,
No, but the context.
What's going on?
my guy.
Let me
And
jump
you're
in.
trying to talk to us about complacency when you go to Anfield. Like, behave,
It's
innit?
not
Let's not do that,
about
bro.
deflection.
Listen, you can't do that. You can't do that.
What's going on?
I'm on the outside looking in.
That's what I'm trying to say, innit? Like, you've got to look at it in both ways. You've got to take positives and negatives. You can't look at one. You can't look at the other. You got to look at both.
You brushed it under the carpet and fell foul to the same issues a week later.
We didn't.
Can we just
We didn't brush it under the
context
carpet
of that
at all,
Liverpool game? Can we just be honest about that Liverpool game? Saying about it, like, obviously, like, Liverpool deserves stuff like that. They only got to that point in that game because you were 2-0 up and absolutely all over them, and you should have been 3 or maybe 4-0 up. And then Saka done that thing that obviously started the Liverpool comeback. Until then, Liverpool weren't in the game. You were slaughtering them. It was Saka and his stupidity that allowed that Liverpool team and that crowd to get on you, and that's where you started crumbling. So it's your own fault. That's the context.
Alan, every time they lose a game, every time they lose the game, every time they get knocked out of competition, they instead of addressing it for what it is, they use it as we didn't want to be in that anyway because we can focus on the league. We went to Anfield. We're allowed to drop points from 2-0 up. We don't need. Who wants to play on a Thursday and a Sunday? Deal with the issue at hand, and you might not make that mistake in the next game.
No one said we were allowed.
But here you are, mistake after mistake,
and then you just purposely draw it out of context.
What's your thoughts again? Because it was you who initially made the point.
That you're not. Yeah, we get it.
Forget about me. We see the deflection.
But no one was saying it's okay to drop 2
You're a
points at
tricky
Anfield.
customer, mate. You're tricky, but I see right through you. You're tricky, but I see right through you.
No one was saying it was okay to drop 2 points. When
What's that? Is this the Man United part or the Arsenal part? Because he keeps mentioning my team again. I'm confused. Bro, I'm baffled. What's going on?
One second, guys.
Let me just respond to
everyone. Just time out 1 second. Look, here's the thing with the Liverpool game. I completely agree with Alan. I'm gonna tell you why. Here's the thing. As a Liverpool fan, I've watched my team this season. Watching this the first half against Arsenal, I already know they were just complacent. They couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. I genuinely believe the team just couldn't give a shit. Like, they're just like out here like, oh, fuck this, we've got to play again. Because you need to understand, from the Liverpool perspective, like, our season's done already. We've already failed this season on all accords. So it's just like we couldn't care less, really. But then after that whole Saka incident, it's almost like the players cared, the fans cared, everyone cared. And by the way, that second half against Arsenal, I think 99% of the Liverpool fans will tell you it's probably our best half or second best half after the 6-1 against Man United in 1 half. That was either 1 or 2 as in best half we've played, because what we did in that second half reminded a lot of us for like Liverpool from 18-19, Liverpool from 19-20, because we just woke up and we suddenly like decide like, okay, we can actually play the sport, and we turned it up. But I understand completely what Nix is saying. And this is the thing that I think maybe Arsenal fans aren't getting. And this is where I can help you, because I've been in your position against Man City 500 times already.
They didn't want to hear
so
it.
I know what this feels like. Now you have simply got to go to the Etihad and win. There is no such thing as draw is okay, blah, blah, blah is okay. So you have to give yourself a cushion in terms of if you drop points or something happens to you, you can keep going. And what Nick is saying is correct, because he's simply saying the context of Arsenal this season is a title race context. So because the context is the title race and you're trying to win the Premier League against Manchester City, you can't afford to drop the 3 points at Anfield from 2-0 up. You can't afford to drop the 3 points against West Ham. That's simply what he's saying, which he is correct in. Because every Arsenal fan, even today, by nature was referring to this as a loss, even though it was a draw. But it feels like a loss because they were up against West Ham and they should have won the game, and they shouldn't have, I'm not going to use the word bottled it. I think it's too early to say that, but they shouldn't have dropped points against that West Ham side from that position. So I think both of you guys are right. The truth is in the middle, which is Arsenal shouldn't be dropping points, whether it's Anfield, Etihad, Bernabeu, San Siro. If you're 2-0 up, you should be winning the game.
No, but the thing is, look, I wasn't disputing that. I think what Neeks was saying was because we didn't look at the Anfield result for what it was, that's why it's happened again. Like,
he's right.
Like we looked at it in equal measure because yes, it was 2 point dropped, but also because we are still a developing team, we are looking at it also from a perspective of compared to where we've come from, compared to, like, I used to just write off Liverpool at Anfield, getting anything, not a point, not even a goal. It used to be a case of, right, we're going there and we're going to get another slap. That's what it is. That's what it's been for 4 or 5 seasons, bro. Yeah. So how, even though we dropped 2 points, how are we not supposed to look at it and be like, this squad is at least improved to a point where we haven't held a slap here, and we've taken 4 points from a team that for the last 4 or 5 seasons we take none from. So why wouldn't we look at it in both ways? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you were in that situation, because you haven't got much from Anfield in previous seasons, if you were to then rock up,
but when we won titles, we did. John O'Shea, we did.
Let me just jump in, please.
That's the whole point, bro. Like, if you would, no, but that's what Neeks, that's what you're trying to remove, right? You haven't been.
I'm not trying to remove anything.
Let me finish, if I may. Yeah, you haven't been that team for a long time. Yeah, you haven't gone to Anfield and done that for a long time. So if you were to suddenly do that, even if you were 2-0 up, and you dropped 2 points, yeah, from that situation, you would still turn around and be like, yeah, that's disappointing. Yeah, we should have held on. Yeah, we should have taken the 3 points.
Maybe in a race for top 4, but not in a title race. In a title race, there is no margin for error. History doesn't care about a title race. Vice versa. You have to get the job done.
I personally think
take some stock from that. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're acting like you were doing something differently in that situation.
Let's all talk once and cut.
None of you
talk once and cut.
I feel like you've misread everything he said. You took it as a personal attack towards Arsenal from a Man United fan, but merely what he was pointing out is the fact that we dropped points in back-to-back games and we made similar mistakes in back-to-back games, which is
but that's not just what he said.
I believe that if we would have rectified what we did against Liverpool, we wouldn't have had the same level of complacency when we were 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we were 2-0 up. We should go for the third. We should go for the fourth. But you want to know what happened? The moment we went 2-0 up, the level of intensity for Arsenal changed. I'm telling you right now, you can go back and watch the game as many times as you want, but up until they scored their opening goal, we had majority of dominance. We controlled the game. From the moment they scored until the game ended, they were on top of us more than we were. And especially after they scored their second, we didn't even look like we were going to score a third. This has happened 2 times in a row. We can no longer say it's complacency. We can no longer say it's just youth. We have a good enough team to beat West Ham. I'm not a negative person, but I'm going to call it as it is. The reality is we absolutely messed up 2 games in a row, and the players and the players and the manager both have to look at what they did wrong and rectify it, because we cannot go to Manchester City, score an early goal, and think we're going to be able to coast for the rest of the game and win. We cannot do that for any team for the remainder of the season. Everybody's fighting for their life. So the reality is, Neeks, I think, is right on this one when it comes to the fact that we should have looked at that Liverpool game as an example to push on and maybe in the future try to aim for that third. Because guess what? When he scored the second, we had an opportunity in the 23rd minute to get a third, but we didn't do it. And from there, it was straight capitulation.
I disagree.
So now look, guys,
we didn't do that.
46 minutes on Arsenal. We've got to move to the other London teams that suck. But before we do that, let's read just address the super chats real quick. Big up everyone as well. There's 350 people watching us. Make sure you slap the likes. Make sure you subscribe right now. Move like Man City. Be sharks and ruthless. Slap that like button right now. Big up to Mohammed Amar, who says Man City gonna win easy now. I think many people probably agree with that line of thought, and I'm gonna go around and just ask who do you think is gonna win the league. Vater Games trying to be humble with his,
No, it's not
smug
gonna be
ass
easy.
smile.
No. We're gonna win, but it's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, oh, fair enough. It's going to be medium difficulty. Big up to Messi FC, who says, I would take Saka over Salah every day of the week. Messi FC, you are the biggest troll in the history of YouTube. I'm going to let it go. Let me not even say anything. Hey, at least Salah's turned
You
up in
would
the big
take
game.
Saka over Salah right now with the age.
No, I wouldn't.
You would take a 30-something Salah over Saka.
Yes, because this is not FIFA, and I think Salah could play till he's 36 easily and score goals. We've seen it this year, bro. We've actually seen it. Anyway, Sultan says Saka greater than Salah, Saliba greater than Konate, Martinelli greater than Diaz, Ben White greater than Trent. You lot deserve this. Inshallah City win this year, then they go play with Wrexham in League 4. That is the most backhanded compliment to Man City I have ever heard my whole life. Man's like, yeah, you know what? You can win the league and then go play in League 2. Like, wow, that's a great super chat, Sultan. Thank you so much for this.
All the players that you said are better is accurate for this season. Let's not lie.
Allow it. Salah gets into any team in the world. Big up to Madrid Star says, Vinny, clear of Saka. Don't compare, please. I don't think it was a comparison. I think Neeks was more saying in terms of maybe the moments. And to be honest, I do agree in terms of moments. World-class players need to have moments. That's why, when people speak on Gerrard, they immediately remember the moments. They immediately remember the Istanbuls, etc. You have to have the moments. You can't not have moments. Like even KDB, for example, Mo Salah, probably the two world-class players in the league over the last 5 years. I'm not saying they're the only two. I'm saying there's plenty others. But I'm saying those two, if we use them as the barometer, Salah's had iconic moments at the Etihad. He's had them at Anfield. He's had them at multiple different stadiums. KDB, what he did against Wolves, title on the line. All of these things, you need to have world-class moments as well. AJ says, missing a penalty in the title run is bottling. No, I do agree. He should have scored the penalty. But my criticism of Saka wasn't even just the penalty miss. I think his overall performance was a little bit lacking today. That's probably a bigger problem than just missing a penalty because everyone's missed penalties. Pressure moments, where was Gerrard? Istanbul wouldn't exist without Steven Gerrard. The FA Cup final in 06 wouldn't exist without Steven Gerrard. I could sit here and name you till tomorrow. Iconic moments. Old Trafford kissing the camera. Come on, let's not start this. AJ says, I hope Arsenal fans now realize that Rodri is greater than Partey. I've always said, and I know Neeks might not like this, but this is my honest opinion. I think Rodri and Partey are 1 and 2. And the reason why I put them above Casemiro is not a disrespect to Casemiro. I just think as footballers, I think Rodri and Partey are just a better package, if you would like. Casemiro is an unbelievable destroyer and a DM, but I just think the other two could pass the ball as well, and that's not an insult. Big up to Messi, who says, to be fair, the Spurs fans know who is Spursy Egal. He does. He does. He's actually, you know what it is? If we're talking about bottling, Alan should be on the screen by himself lecturing us. Big up. Can we talk about the profile of Gallagher? No, we cannot. No, we cannot. And we're going to do that on a different Liverpool show. You bastard. Today is the one day where I haven't played and I'm just here to ask questions. Leave me alone. Big up to Julius, who says, Arsenal finished trophyless, a club with an over-glorified history. Damn. Cheated to stay from relegation on the expense of Spurs. Sir Henry Norris saved you from bankruptcy. 0 European heritage and pedigree. I love the fact that Julius, if I'm not mistaken, I think is a Chelsea fan. I think that's Lampard.
That explains it.
Yeah, that explains a lot. I love the Vim.
Still true, though. Still true.
This is why I love football, and this is why I can't support an NBA team.
It is true.
Because there's not enough tribalism. Shit like this, I inject in my veins. I love when people are shameless like this. Big up to you, Julius, man. Thanks so much for the super chat. And here's the thing. They've been talking about penthouses. I can't lie. At least I've got a biryani plate to celebrate this season. I won the Community Shield. I won the biryani plate. At least I got something. If you finish the season trophyless, I can't lie to you, it's going to be long. And
uncomfortable conversations.
And let me just announce from now, Arsenal fans, I got no problem with Arsenal. You're my cousin from London. I generally have 0 problem with your football club. No rivalry there, no hatred, no vim. It ain't going to be me. It's going to be the Spurs fans, the Chelsea fans, the United fans, the City. Those are the guys you have to deal with because they're going to give you the biggest headache over 3 months in the summer.
Energy drink merchants, the 11th place bus stop in Fulham fans, and the absolute bottle job from the lane. Fucking bring it on.
That is who we're going to speak.
Get a backbone.
Brilliant.
Get a
That's
backbone.
who we're going to speak on now in a second. FB finally says the fans forced us to crown Saka world class when his age mates like Vinny played 2-3 times a week and earned the world class title that way. And here's the thing, FB, thank you for the super chat. First of all, second of all, I agree with you, and I think the Arsenal fans themselves agree because neither Igal nor GK have made the argument that Saka's world class. Like they both haven't said he's world class. So I think this is a non-argument because. Actually, 95% of the Arsenal fans that I speak to don't think Saka is world class because to be world class, you've got to do it repetitively multiple times at the highest level. And we will see. Champions League is coming next season. So can he do it on a cold Wednesday night in Spain, in Italy, in Germany, in Russia? We will see. So that's the question.
We don't debate over world-class players. That's the reality.
We still playing in Russia? Are we playing in Russia these days? What's going on over there?
I mean, Zenit St. Petersburg, Lokomotiv Moscow, Spartak Moscow. Anyway, before we carry on, we're going to move across to the other two London clubs. Everyone watching us right now, 350 people watching us. Make sure you slap the like button. As I said, make sure you subscribe to This Is Football if you're ready to do so. Big up to FB, Julius, AJ, Madridista, Messi FC, Momo, and Sultan Al-Mannai for this super chat. Love for the love, people. 350 people in here. No reason why we should be on 200 likes already. Slap the likes now. Subscribe to This Is Football. And of course, we're going to move to Arsenal's little bros. Chelsea and Tottenham. London sucks this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. London just sucks overall, to be honest with you. So in case you're unaware, you're living under a cave, you don't know what happened on earth, let me remind you, Brighton pulled up to Chelsea, done the double over them. Welbeck and Enciso, 2-1. Bournemouth Football Club went to London all the way from the south. Such a long drive. They went all the way there. And they came back against Tottenham Hotspur twice, in the words of Pep Guardiola, to win 3-2. And it was an absolute embarrassing shit show twice because it was 2-1 and then it was 1-0 as well. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No, they were 2-1 up.
No, you were 1-0 up.
We were 1-0 up, but they were 2-1 up. So
that's the first comeback. And then 2-2, 3-2.
2-2. They ain't gonna come back if it's 2-2.
Yeah, hold that. That's like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to combine them both together because they both suck. Guys, let me segue it to Alan in peace, yeah. Anyway, so again, let's combine it together because they both suck. GK, Igal, Vater, Neeks. Let's just let them both speak first. So the Winter Surfer has to explain Chelsea's crimes against football, and then Alan has to explain Spurs' crimes. So go on, Winter Surfer.
So, you know when you watch a horror film, right? And at the end, the main guy is supposedly dead, right? Or whatever. And then some idiot goes, phew, thank God that's over, right? And then the killer comes back, right? That's Frank Lampard, right? Frank Lampard is the guy who won't die, right? In terms of football management, just for anyone says anything. Azam, I was told when he was hired, vibes, the games don't matter, and it wouldn't get any worse. Yeah, that's what I was told, right? So I left it, right? I left it. I told you, didn't I? I left it, right? In the same time, Roy Hodgson has been interim manager of Crystal Palace, but when they were both hired, they were 12 points behind us, and now they're only 3. Yeah? Like I said to you in backstage, because the Tottenham game was late behind us, I was watching that game after Spurs equalised, and Bournemouth scored. And usually I'd be in a bantering mood, right? But actually, that's a bad result for Chelsea, Bournemouth winning. That's only 6 points behind us, and we still got to play them. So, this is it.
Zach, I can't lie to you. Andrew actually agrees with us. If you call Andrew proper Chelsea, he'll actually be upset. I will
RKO your whole family if you call me proper Chelsea. And I will say this. I say this, right? I say this. The only reason we're not further down is because of the 10 points that Tuchel got earlier at the start of the season, right? The only reason. It's deadly true. It's the truth. It's the truth. And the only reason we're not down further is because other teams have got lesser points than us and will take points of each other. But honestly, bro, no point during that game Saturday were Chelsea dominant. No point, right? 30%.
I think you were dominant for 10 minutes at the start.
Did you? I must have missed that, bro, because I didn't notice that. I really don't. The goal was totally against the run of play, and they're trying to give it to Gallagher. But I think that's an own goal, because even if that was on target, the goalie saved in that. Okay, I swear to you right now.
Winter has had enough fully. He's trying to take away his own players' goals.
He went back to a back four, because obviously that's worked well for him and for us. He played Chalobah at right back, who's a centre back. Yeah. He brought Badishili in, who hasn't played for like 4 or 5 games and was playing well before they started doing this stupid rotation thing. He played a midfield of Enzo, Gallagher, and Zakaria. Zakaria hasn't played for 4 or 5 games, but let's just chuck him in anyway, right? And do that. And a front 3 of Pulisic, Sterling, and Mudryk, right? Mudryk played well. But when Gallagher's your second best player on the pitch, I'm sorry, man. You send the flood. You send the flood right now and just wipe away everything. It was embarrassing. They played us off the park 2-1. They had 24 shots to our 4 for that entire game, right? 2-1 is the biggest flattering scoreline in the Premier League this season. That should have been 5. I am not kidding right now. Kepa made a couple of good saves and they missed as well. If they had like an Ivan Toney in that team, he would have bagged a hat-trick on Saturday. I'm not joking right now. That's what it is. And then Lampard comes out, or it's reported, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't had much time to work on tactics. When has he ever worked on tactics? I've got to ask you. Ask Everton fans. When has he ever worked on tactics? I'm working on one-on-one situations. I was told, and other Chelsea fans told, one of the reasons he's brought back, he's going to galvanise the club, the players, and the fans. Did everyone forget that nearly 2 years previously, that's few of the reasons he was sacked, because he ripped apart the squad, the fans, and the club. That's what I'm talking about here.
Andrew, by the way, the report was post-game that apparently Lampard didn't work on tactics. He just spent 2 hours with every player trying to get to know them, apparently.
What?
I'm not making that up.
No. I totally
search that on Twitter right now.
I totally agree with you. I totally believe that, because there is no way. I don't know what his tactics were. It was like, you ever play Fall Guys, right? Yeah. On some levels, all of them, you're all trying to get to one side because you don't want to fall off the edge, right? And the Fall Guys, right? That was like this game. It was like old school schoolyard football where everyone goes up like that. I don't know what the tactics were. I saw Enzo Fernandez at left back on Saturday. I saw him at left back. I honestly don't.
Free my guy Enzo. Free.
And then he did the FIFA career mode sub. You know when you sub on 4 players at once, just for the hell of it. He just did that. He subbed 4 players on. One of them was Ziyech, who doesn't want to be here. He doesn't. He's tried twice now this season to leave. He's actively tried to leave. What is the point? Honestly, I don't understand. Listen, the timing this season has been terrible, right? Sacking Tuchel and replacing him with Potter, and then time you sack Potter.
Are you going to speak on this though, Andrew?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Also,
can you speak on your right back, please? Because my right back.
Chalobah got absolutely destroyed.
Chalobah into right back?
No, he played on Saturday.
And the guy who came on?
He won't bar him. We're fine. He's not playing well. But unlike you, I'm not gonna blame the rest of the team like you do for your right back. Reece James has not been playing well this season. I admit that, and he's had a terrible season. I admit that. But there's also this weird thing in the Chelsea fan base that some fans think that our wide players aren't playing well because our pitch is small, which is crap, because I saw Matoma absolutely have a brilliant game on Saturday on a Stamford Bridge pitch, and he's a wide guy. I've seen Hazard play well. I've seen Robin play well, etc., etc. Our wide players are just not good enough. But Matoma, honestly, it's just one thing after the other. I mean, I could just, like I told you last week, I should have just recorded myself and you could just played it back, because it's the same shit. I honestly think Lampard has done something really good, not good. He's reinforced something for me, because I thought generally Potter was the worst Chelsea manager in history, and statistically I might prove it. But him coming back just for 3 games has reinforced my belief that this guy is the worst Chelsea manager in history. Also one of the worst football managers in history. Also the worst interim manager in history. And there's also rumours going around that tonight, earlier, that they might even sack him and get rid of him because he's that bad at this moment in time. He's also honestly, I don't understand this thing. This I would hate to be a Chelsea fan right now thinking of Frank Lampard and never watching him play football for us, because you would hate this guy. You would hate this guy right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only because he's a
It's
player.
not his fault, Andrew.
Oh,
It's not his
don't
fault.
give me, don't,
It's
no,
Chelsea.
no,
Listen,
He's a good servant to the club.
One second. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with
Okay,
you.
can we let
Chelsea
Alan go on
is-
the Spurs thing first, so we can just combine
I just want to
and shit
say,
on them
I just
both?
want to say, listen, we generally back four this season, we've been atrocious and it shows. Back three works. He's gone from a back four to a back three to a back four again. He absolutely is clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't even know why he brought his coaching staff with him, because they obviously don't do anything. He obviously does it by himself. He obviously thinks, I know the club, I'm proper Chelsea, I know what's going on, and then it will do it on the pitch. Honestly, he is terrible. The players don't care because they think he's shit as well. And that, honestly, just go.
Andrew's had enough.
Just go.
So speaking of someone who's had enough,
Injected.
don't smile, Alan.
Injected.
Explain
He's a
to us
Spurs
what happened against Bournemouth, brother, before we can just throw in you both. Go on.
It's the thing. After I say this, you can ruin me. I'm not weakening my feelings. I have a backbone. People can say what they want. I won't get bent out of shape about it. In regards to Spurs, it was exactly the same as what we've seen all season. Perform for about 20 minutes and then decide to not play, sit back and get absolutely whooped by any team. Let them have the ball. This is Bournemouth we're talking about. People that fight relegation. We did it last week as well. We were lucky against Brighton, but it's a thing that's happened all season long. Continue without foul. In regards to that, why on earth are we sacking Conte and putting Stellini in, who's Conte-like? Some Spurs fans are basically saying this is true. Some Spurs fans are going, you can't...
Did you just say Conte light?
Yeah, he is Conte light. Why on earth are you going, okay, we'll get rid of Conte and we'll put Conte light in, and then literally our club's a fucking joke at the moment. It really is. Spurs fans going, you can't boo Davinson Sanchez. You can if he's fucking shit on the pitch. You can boo him. What I don't agree with is what happens after, like the abuse after social media. I don't agree with that. In the time, if there's players and there's more than one that are playing bad, you can boo them. Not just that, people like Højbjerg, he is not a top 10 player in the Premier League. He can't play for any. But Spurs fans, literally, we're so sentimental. Some of them are so sentimental, going, "Oh, he's our Viking, he's our warrior." No, the guy just runs around like a headless chicken, doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, we've got problems all over the pitch. And here's the thing: at the start of the season, now I know what people are going to use in here, generic terms and all that. I never said Spurs won the transfer window. I said Spurs had a good transfer window, but you needed a defender because our defence was already shaky at best. You needed to solidify that, and then you could
Longley.
What was that? Sorry.
Longley.
No, he was a stopgap. But I did say like we needed a top quality signing, and it didn't happen. And obviously straight away. But then Conte, for most of the season, who's a world-class manager, decided to go, okay, we're weak at the back. We'll just sit back. Here you go, attack us. And literally, you've got plebs at the back like Dyer and Romero, who's been shocking this season. See, I have players that I like, but I can still criticise them. I don't have to defend people I like. Lloris is finished.
What is that? Like a little backhanded comment at me, is it? Or
if it don't apply, let it fly. Stop cutting in. My time.
Yeah,
Relax.
we know what you're trying to do, but it's calm. Like, carry on.
I thought that was aimed at me, to be fair, and the trend.
Relax.
But
Right. The thing is, Spurs have been absolutely shocking this season, and I, for one, and people have alluded to it, and you can go back and have a look at. Oh no, don't bring Poch back, not at all. In regards to the end of last season, I went on a terrace and I cooked Arsenal fans because you bottled top four, we got top four. I expect it back in spades, and I'm going to be here for it. I'm not going to hide for it. But in regards to that, with Conte getting top four, how on earth could it go so wrong so quick at Spurs? And it's the same thing at Spurs. It happens, rinse and repeat. And Spurs fans are going, oh, yeah, but let's just get top four and we can go again. To do fucking what? We get top four, we do fuck all, and then we go, let's get top four again and it's all good. No, I want to win trophies at Spurs. And the trophies that we could have got somewhere in, we bottled it against Nottingham Forest in, the third round of the League Cup. And then we go out to Sheffield United, who then get Blackburn and now in the semi-final because we decide to what? Go for top four because that's our priority. It's an absolute joke, a shit show at Spurs. And it's not going to happen. And also to the Spurs fans that are literally saying about, oh, Give the job to Ryan Mason and let him cook. As I said in the Gals channel, let him cook what? Raw fucking chicken. Why on earth are we even trying to do stuff like this as a football club? We're an absolute joke. This bullshit that quick and get a manager in. There's so much wrong with that Bournemouth performance in the fact that we're crying out for people that don't want to, that aren't getting played, who are only there for a stopgap on the loan and all that. And to put what went the surfer, put into perspective, bringing on Ziyech for what, who doesn't want to be there. Spurs were doing that in the last couple of games, bringing on Lucas Moura, who's like 31, who's fucking got a Zimmer frame because he's lost all his speed and all that, and he doesn't want to be there and he's going in the summer. My club is an absolute fucking embarrassment this season, and people can cuss all they want. It's true. No, Pep Linders, you can keep him as well. I've absolutely had enough of Spurs this season, and people can say what they like. It's true.
Please take him, Alan. Alan, if you take Pep Linders, I'll do a Hussam Allen special every week.
No,
honestly, we need just get rid of him, please. Take him away from me.
Alan, can I ask you why do you not keep bringing on Davinson Sanchez?
I don't. It's literally I don't understand it because under Conte it was let's bring on a right wing back for a right wing back when we were chasing games and all that. Sometimes he'd take Harry Kane off in cuts and bring on somebody who weren't an attacker. This is what I'm saying. This season has been such a shit show, and I don't understand why it's been that bad.
Alan,
yeah.
Can I give you my honest? I'm not even trying to cook it. Yeah, I'm being real.
You're about to cook because you just said that.
No, I'm not. Look, for me, I've never had an issue. If a rival player's got a good player, I'm not. Certain people that are Arsenal fans that don't celebrate when Harry Kane scores a goal when he's playing for England. I'm not that guy. Harry Kane's world class. Son has performed over the previous seasons to a world class level. Outsider looking in, for a considerable number of years, the best part of Tottenham's team has been its attack. Now, when you got Jose in, the reason why I wasn't worried was not because Jose is not a good manager. It's because Jose is a defensive manager. Now, if the best part of your team is your front line and you're bringing in someone that is going to build from the back and that is going to play football that isn't necessarily orientated around being attacking in the way that you did under Pochettino, because I'll be honest, I'll keep it 100. Tottenham have never scared me like they did when they had Pochettino as their manager, because Pochettino realized this, because he was like, this is the best part of my team, so that's the part of the team I'm going to utilize the most and try and facilitate the most. Now, Jose, on paper, is a good manager. You saw what he had done at Man United. Neeks will tell you. He went in there, he destroyed the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? He broke the culture. Players like Pogba, players like Luke Shaw, he was calling them out in public, publicly chastising them. And you guys were like, yeah, but he's won trophies and we need to win trophies. And you didn't, that was the only thought process that went into bringing in. It was the only thought process that went into bringing Jose Mourinho. And Nuno, I don't even know what you're thinking there. But then Conte, if you look at his previous history as well, other clubs, again, my guy will tell you about what he did at Chelsea when he didn't get his own way. The minute he didn't get it, he threw his toys out the pram. He did the same at Inter. As soon as the Chinese investors pulled out, off he went. And there's players at both Chelsea and Inter that he ostracized as well. My thing with Tottenham is this: every time you get this new manager, he's world class, he's this, that, and the other, they're not right fits for you. Arteta on paper is nowhere near as good a manager as Conte, but he's a better fit for Arsenal Football Club than either Conte or Jose was for Tottenham. And therein lies your problem, bro. Right? Do you know what I mean? You're bringing in managers that don't fit or suit the best parts of your team, that aren't going to facilitate the best parts of your team. And I almost feel sorry for Son, man, because the season he's had, he was the Golden Boot winner last season. And, I think
shit this season.
He's fallen off the edge of a cliff, man.
Alan, don't feel bad for Son. I think Alan don't like Son either.
No, I like Son for everything. Like last season, I was singing his praises, the one guy showing up. But I'm not one of these because Son done it last season. I'm going to give him a freebie this season. He's been fucking shocking. So
It's been
when
awful.
You want to know something?
So
But
I'm
the
not
thing is, I
Colin?
don't think the tactics of Conte or Jose really helped them. If I'm being
You want to know
honest.
something?
last season,
I don't think Tottenham are having
He's having
that
a
bad
poor season.
I don't think Tottenham are having a bad season though.
Hmm?
They're in and around where they usually would be, fighting for top four, sitting fourth, where they
They've
usually would be.
actually got less points at this point this
Listen,
season than
I'm
they had
not-
last season.
I don't really care about the points totals. I'm just basically saying, based on where they would be in and around fighting for top four, that with this terrible season they're having, they're in and around where they expect to be, getting top four. Now,
Igal, do you think Man United are going to finish in the top four?
did I think Man United were going to finish top four? No.
No,
Did I
not
think Liverpool
do you
would-
think?
Did I
Do
think
you think?
Liverpool were going to be seventh?
No,
No.
one second.
Did I
Relax,
think
relax.
Chelsea would be 11th? No.
Igal, relax. I'm not
Live
saying
for
do
the
you
race.
think. I'm saying, do
He's
you think
firing
as
all
of
the shots.
today, Man United are going to finish top four?
No, but that's the bad example.
Bro, I'm
No,
saying
no.
once. I don't
Ask
think you
again. Ask him again. Ask
Igal,
him again.
right
Okay.
now, as of today, do you predict that in May, Man United will be in the top four?
Or Man United will be, yeah.
Okay, so now you've got Spurs and Newcastle. Would it be fair to say if Newcastle finish in the top four and Spurs not, then it's a failure of a season for them?
Of course. But if they finish
Yeah, okay.
fourth,
Fair enough.
But if they finish fourth, it's business as usual. Daniel Levy says he has a successful season, but the reality is the person who gets off scot-free is Andrew, because we're talking about Spurs right now. Chelsea, this is the worst Chelsea team based off points totals and where they are in the league that we've seen in nearly 20 years. Am I wrong?
No, I think it's no. Oh, in Premier League, sorry, yeah. Sorry, Premier
Yeah,
League.
so in the Premier League era, this is the worst Chelsea side we've seen.
Actually,
and I would
it's
even
nearly
take it as
30.
far to say that this is probably out of the traditional
No
top
one cares
four.
about your teams in the 60s and shit. Come on.
Out of the traditional top four, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool, let's be honest, none of our clubs have been as bad as this Chelsea team has been.
I agree.
Even you under Roy Hodgson, never this bad. Even you under David Moyes and all your other managers, never this bad. Arsenal under Unai Emery, Arteta, never this bad. This Chelsea team is the worst out of the original top four because we can't really include Man City and Tottenham because they've had bad years prior to their formation.
Since Potter took over, no Premier League team has lost more games than Chelsea. That's
And
like
you know what?
even
But
the
it is
relegation.
promising for
This
them
makes my
next
point.
season, though.
This makes my point exactly. Stop blaming the managers.
It's
Stop
promising
blaming
for the next
managers.
8 years, 8.5
Stop blaming
years.
the
So we
managers.
add an extra half a year for Enzo.
Andrew, stop looking at Potter. Stop looking at Lampard. Start looking at the top. Look at the guy who came in for Roman Abramovich and messed up everything. Because finally, I'm seeing Chelsea fans pointing the finger at him. I personally believe.
I can't lie, that's fact.
Since you guys have lost Roman Abramovich, you guys have been an absolute joke of a football club.
You know what it is?
Transfers.
Sorry,
not with you, Andrew. Yeah. Can I just say one thing? Not with you, yeah, but like other Chelsea fans. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I'm so confused. Like I'm in the mid sentence, you just jump in, my guy. I'm sorry. Let me finish. When it comes to Chelsea, right? I just wanted to say your owner from transfers. Come on, guys. Your owner from transfers to sacking of staff, all the way to sacking two managers, all the way to decision makings on who to bring in, and who on earth told the guy to spend this much money on players, not even knowing the direction the club wants to go in the summer to the January. And I don't really believe that you guys are going in the right direction until I see some right decisions. I have yet to see Todd Bowley make any right decision besides maybe fork up money for Enzo, because without Enzo, you'd have no shining light in your season.
The thing with Chelsea, right? Not so much you, Andrew, but like when Bowley came in, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Chelsea fans were like, when they saw him making the big signings in the summer, they were like, "Oh yes, we're ruining football again. This is what made us successful." You know what I mean? Like, you know, like we're making
Chelsea DNA.
big, bold statements. We're ruining football. Like, but it's like you're like, oh, now we're like Arsenal. We're going to have a process, but what we're going to do is we're going to put Arsenal's process on steroids, and we're going to facilitate it happening quicker. Yeah, like even Man United, they're a big club. Do you know what I mean? Neeks will tell you they got a lot of money. You know, they could spend 600 million if they wanted to, but even they were like, there's limits to how many players you can integrate in one season when a new manager is also integrating as well. Do you know what I mean? They didn't try and speed up the process. They didn't try and facilitate it happening quicker than it needed to. Newcastle, you look at, they got all the money in the world. They got. I think their wealth supersedes that of the other 19 owners in the league. Even they were like, we're going to do this in stages. We're going to stagger it. But you see, with Chelsea, there's this total lack of patience where you're just like, nah, we've got standards, unlike Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? 8th and 5th, that's their standard. So we're just going to speed up this process by getting all the players at once, en masse. 17 players you brought in 2 windows.
Yeah.
And we're going to, give that to Tuchel. We're only going to give him 7 games to dig himself out of a hole when he's got new players. When you said you're going to give him time and patience, okay, maybe he fell out with the owner. Then we're going to bring in Potter and say he's a project manager. And then you're going to sack him before the end of the season. Like, at what point do you realize that, like, you can change all the managers you want, you can change all the players you want, but the thing is, you try to go for young players, which I think was a good idea. I don't think it was a bad idea. Don't get me wrong, but with young players, the reality is they need time. They need time. They need time to gel. A lot of them aren't from this league, so they're coming to new countries. They need to understand the culture of the football club, the culture of the country, the language barriers, all of these things. Like there's no chopping and changing of managers and systems and all, because you are constant. Like you said, you went from a 3 to
4-3 and then a 4.
That was looking like it was steadying the ship. Then Lampard in his first game tries to play a back 4, and it's like, well, no. The 3 actually was steadying the ship a bit, and now and then he goes to the Champions League game, plays a 3, then he goes back to a 4, and it's like there's too much. Like, the problem isn't the players; they're decent players. You know what I mean? The problem isn't the managers; these are decent managers. The problem is you like the moment you see a spot of bother, your immediate response is change, and that in itself, like, is why you're not going to get anywhere unless you realize you have to double down with something.
Which is, I agree. Listen, you're not going to hear me go, no, what are you talking about, stuff like that. I agree. They took over, introduced 6 stamps, blah, blah, blah. The infrastructure was there, Marina and Czech. They wanted them there, they left. But what they didn't do was bring the infrastructure in before they'd done the manager, right? Because I believe there's no way with this infrastructure would they say to the owners, you got to hire Potter, right? They'd go for a different manager and stuff like that. So they've done it arse backwards, essentially. And then they've, like you said, if they didn't want Tuchel and they fell out with him, you should have fired him way before the season started, right? Should have done that. Get whoever in. At least give Potter time and a pre-season to do something, right? Something like that. So they set up Potter to fail, right? That's on them. And then, like you said, they should have sacked Potter weeks. If they were going to sack Potter, it should have been done before they sacked him, right? Because if they knew they were going, I don't believe they wanted to sack him. I think they gave into pressure in the end, because you're not telling me that they had Lampard lined up. I know some reports that say that. I just don't believe it, right? I think they sacked him. They thought PR move, get Lampard in, yada yada. I totally agree with you. This is why. I am, and I'm not in favour of. I want a manager announced at least before the end of the season, right? I want it announced who's going to be in, what football they're going to do, stuff like that. But I would have to say this: they have to smarten up now. Okay, I believe they've come in and thought they could bring their own sporting philosophy in, like this. They thought they could run it a certain way, or they need to do it this way. And they tried to, like you say, I believe you're right. They tried to do the process way, but a steroid-induced version in 1 year or 2 years or something like that. And I agree. I think the transfers, they're doing it right. They're buying it young. The problem is the players that are there, some of them are good, but some of them aren't, right? They're still not good enough, right? So even them, what you would expect the young players to try and flourish. For example. Yeah. Okay, sure. Man, you're so petty, man. You are so petty. One game.
I will never let it go. I will never let it go ever.
Trent's had seasons, got one game.
Because you know what? Andrew's a real guy, but the Chelsea fans act
anyway,
like
stop.
I'm just over it.
What I'm saying is, like, when you have young players in, you want the players already established to, like, sort of like hide them a little bit, take the pressure off them, stuff like that. These guys that have been there for the last 3 or 4 years are not good. They're not playing to whatever potential or whatever they had, and maybe they're not good enough. But that's the problem. Then the young players have to step up and stuff like that. It's just.
By the way,
it's
Mr. Sarpa, do you like this? Like the whole, I don't know if you saw, but apparently Todd Bowley was speaking to the team for a whole hour after the game. I don't know if you like this or not.
But like I said this to you, if he goes in there, right, I would just, if I was a player, I'd be thinking, that's great. But you hired this Lampard guy, right? Why would I, you know what I mean? It's like, why would I, if you want us to take you serious, exactly, if you want us to take you seriously, hire Nagelsmann, hire Enrique, hire whoever. Do you know what I mean? Get that done. So at least we know who we're going to play with.
But
in the
you know,
summer, right?
this is the other thing.
I'm confused. What did I ever do to a Sunderland fan? Why do you Sunderland fans in your chat hate me?
You know what though? Yeah, this is
I have
the
no
other
idea.
thing. Yeah, like this hiring and firing of managers, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea. A lot of Chelsea fans will say that's what's made us successful for so long, but there's a drawback to it because the reason why the likes of Nagelsmann and Enrique, like the PR are spinning it, saying, "Oh yeah, they said that they don't want to come in until the end of the season." That's not what's happening. You know what's happening here? These guys are like, we have serious reservations about joining Chelsea because, you know, like we've seen what just happened to Potter. His reputation now, Potter, is mudded. Tuchel, yeah, okay, he's gone to Bayern Munich, so he had a bit more VVS, so he can walk into another job. Potter's reputation that he cultivated, he turned down Tottenham, by the way, when they were looking for like managers, because he was like, I'll go there and my reputation might be in tatters afterwards. When Jose went to Tottenham, he's gone to Roma. He's had to kind of go down, you know, like considering what other clubs he's managed. Now I've got to rebuild my reputation. None of these managers want to do that anymore. Do you know what I mean? And like, this is the thing, like you've almost gone against the grain of what you're trying to do by your impatience and your petulance. Do you know what I mean? Like, top managers aren't gonna, like, they're not gonna just look at, oh yeah, what's the budget? What money are you gonna get? It's the culture of, am I gonna get the time? Do you know what I mean?
That's from GK. We're sending mixed messages, right? Because you're going, we'll buy the players, right? We'll buy the young players. We say we're going to back the manager, stuff like this. And like you say, maybe not the first point, but eventually the manager's gone, right? Stuff like that. So you're sending a mixed message. You can't say, oh, we're doing a long-term project, but then you fire the manager within like 6 months, right? It sends a mixed message to everyone. Yeah. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So what happens? Okay, so you get Enrique or Nagelsmann in, right? What happens if same thing happens again, right? And this is where, listen, the players aren't not totally to blame. Of course they are. The players take blame as well. But if we get a manager like Enrique Standard or Nagelsmann or something like that, what happens if they go a month without winning or something like that? Because you're right. It also depends. Also the Chelsea fans are being indoctrinated for the last 20 years of anything that goes wrong. Roman, helicopter at the Cobham Ground, the manager's gone, like that, yeah? Stuff like that. And that's the problem with the Chelsea fans as well. You're right. We're too impatient as a fan base. Because like you say, the last 20 years, we sacked the two managers who won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? That's how ridiculous this club is. That's the only club that's been managed to fire manager upon manager and doesn't go at least 2 years without winning something, right? It's just one of the things. But the owners have got to take, this is on the owners, the situation we're in wholly, because of their timing is terrible. You sack Tuchel after the transfer window. You sack him after the transfer window, and then you bring Potter in within 3 days. You already had that planned, right? You then sack Potter in March? Why not? If it was that bad already, why not just wait till the end of the season or something? Do you know what I mean? And then look at your situation then. It's just the timing and the planning is terrible. It's just
there's Chelsea fans out there who defend Todd Bowley. That makes no sense to me.
Yes, I think listen. They want to defend them. That's fine. I think it's just one of those things. It's like I think it's maybe a bit. Oh yeah, thank you for saving the club and all that shit, right? But it's like save the club. That's fine, but you got to run it correctly, yeah, or what's perceived to be correctly. Right.
He's an absolute idiot. He really is, Todd Bowley. Like I say, and my description of him, I will stand by it to the end of time. He's Mike Ashley with money. That's all he is. Literally, just throws money.
With money.
Damn.
Mike Ashley.
That's an insult right there.
But no, it's true. Literally, all he's done is he's gone. Okay, I'll get rid of Tuchel. I'll bring in Potter. Don't ask Potter or get signings for Potter. He throws money at anyone. Anyone who's buying anyone who's like going, oh no, I could throw more money at it, like it was Monopoly and all that. Don't go past go, don't collect £200 and all that shit. And literally now it's got to the point where Potter couldn't manage him. He's gone like that. Okay, no, I'm going to get rid of Potter's wrong idea. But to appease the Chelsea fans who are booing, I'm going to get Frank fucking Lampard back. Yeah, that's great.
The worst part for me, though,
he's lost 17 games for as Chelsea manager. He's won 6% of them games in 17. What an absolute idiot he is.
He's lost 14 of his last 17 Premier League games.
He got rid of Chelsea's whole backroom staff and was getting players in the summer with no backroom staff. Yeah. Then he brought in Christian Vivel, that other guy from Monaco, and apparently they want Nagelsmann. But the owner's saying, no, we want to get Enrique because he's got more experience. So it's like, hang on, now you're bringing in a backroom staff and you're not even trusting their better judgment. Like what?
That's the thing. It's all right. The Chelsea fans told me their process is not as good as is not going to be as bad as our process. They're going to be winning in 2 years. So let them run their process the way they want to run their process. Neeks, am I wrong? They're literally just saying to us, their process, they know better. Todd Bowley knows best. They're going to spend their way out of trouble. But we told them Man United tried to do that and they didn't want to listen. We told them that you need to do things the right way. They didn't listen. They have one of the best academies in the country. They don't want to use it. It just, you know what? To me, at this point,
our academy is overrated.
I just want to see how long Chelsea fans have patience. Because if you guys have patience, it might be a couple of years before you see.
The difference is this, right? The difference is where you say don't blame managers, and I understand that and stuff like that. There would be patience, and this is where blame goes all around. Okay, you have to blame everyone involved. You have to see that Potter didn't really improve anyone in his time here, right? Even just a little tiny bit. Okay. And he was changing as well from a 4 to a 3, something like that. And, you know, not playing people like playing Cucurella in a back 3 and stuff like that. So Chelsea, I think football fans are they're easily won over, right? I think football fans are, if you see some type of progression, right? If you're in the play or something like that. Say, I mean, we're talking about Potter's record. He was like 4 wins in 23 or something like that, yeah? I mean, it's not talking like he's like 12 in 21 or something. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, do you know what I mean? Exactly. So it was like, we have to understand that Potter really didn't help himself. And this is what really miffed me as well. This Potter firing was all about ego now, because we were like, the media dreamt up like, well, we were going to have to pay him 60 million or something like that. It was 13 in the end, right? It was 13 in the end, which is a lot of money, right? But that was all about ego. It's all about ego from the owners, because that was their guy. They didn't want to get it wrong. And that's the problem. They should be on there to like sign the checks, enjoy the games, let the guys run the club.
What? I've said as well, Felix and Mudryk were PR stunts as well. Oh, because your manager's situation was so bad. It was like still transfers from Arsenal. The fans will forget it. And a lot of Chelsea fans aren't ready for this conversation, but tell me I'm lying.
What's the point in getting Felix if you haven't got a striker? There's no point in getting Felix, but you haven't got a striker. What is the point? Oh, he'll play it with Havertz. Havertz is not a striker. What's the point? Mudryk,
I can't lie to you guys. This whole conversation is such a massive mid-off, honestly. After listening to Andrew,
you wanted to talk about it.
It is true. It is true. After listening to Andrew and Alan, I actually feel better about myself. You know,
exactly.
Can I just say quickly on Spurs? On Spurs. No, I just think, and Adam will probably agree because he kind of alluded to it anyway. I think the best thing for Spurs this season is to finish outside the top 4. Yeah. Because then you can actually take a stock of actually where you're at. Finishing in the top 4 masks and has been masking a lot of Spurs problems. You can bring in a short-term manager because, well, the team is at this position. All it needs is a short, sharp shock and we can win something. We can do something quickly. Fall outside the top 4 and you actually look, actually, you know what? We're not as good as we thought we were. These players aren't as good as we thought we were. We're not moving in the direction that we thought we were moving, and we need to reevaluate and kind of basically just rebuild, not just the squad, but the way that the club works. Yeah. So I think as much as Spurs are in the title race and not title race, sorry, God, the top 4 race,
It's
And
crazy.
you're going to be disappointed if you lose games.
Neeks, would you
But-
sell Harry Kane?
But once again, but come the end of the season, yeah, I think finishing out the top 4 is the best thing, and it's also the best thing for Man United because it means we might be able to get Harry Kane on the cheap. So yeah, make sure you finish out.
See, there you are.
I knew there
No,
was
no, no,
some-
no, no, no. Let's not do that. Neeks, if you were Daniel Levy, would you sell Harry Kane? If you were the owner of Spurs, would you sell him?
I think with 1 year left, I think you have to.
Basically, what I'm saying is, would you do like a Felipe Coutinho? Would you do like someone where you like sell a guy and get like 3-4 guys from his price tag?
I don't know. Coutinho went for like 140, and you got like 2 players for 70 each, like Van Dijk and Alisson, give or take. You probably get max 100 million for Kane. And yeah, you could get
club dumb enough to pay that is yours. So
you say dumb, but we get 3 world-class shares out of Kane, 100 million is a snip. But you get 250 million players out.
3 years later.
250 million players. 250 million players. What would that do for Spurs? Yeah, I guess it could do something, but they need more than that. It would help.
Would you sell Kane, Alan?
Let's very quickly. Let's look back to the last time we sold a big name player in Gareth Bale, and we wasted all that money on 8 players, and only one turned out to be any good over a long period of time.
I still remember that transfer window.
Exactly.
Soldado, right? Soldado, those guys.
Exactly. All of them guys. The only one that turned out to be good was
Lamella.
They brought Lamella, and then they brought Bale back on loan to replace Lamella. Because he was so poor.
That is a myth with Lamella. Lamella was with us for 7 seasons and scored 19 goals. No, he was absolute shit. Get him off.
I wasn't saying he was good. I was saying he was one of the players.
We're saying it's bad.
Okay, no, but out of that transfer window, he was one of the okay ones at least.
No. Ericsson, wasn't it? Ericsson's the only one.
Ericsson was the only one. No. So in regards to me, my honest opinion, you get to the end of the transfer window, I would sell both Son and Kane. You can get 180 million, maybe Son based on this season, probably 180 million, and you'd reinvest it into the club. But saying that in hindsight with Spurs, seeing what they've done before, the amount of money they've got there, that would not be reinvested in the team properly, and that would just fuck us over. So I would I'd sell one. Yeah, I'd sell one. If I'm going to be honest, I'd sell Son. Kane costs us nothing. So,
the only reason you won't sell Son. Yeah, you won't sell Son, and
on his contract for longer
because of the marketing. You will not sell Son because of the
marketing. Because it's true.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's also tied down in his contract for longer.
Yeah,
so he's going
to be 4 years, right? 4 years left this summer.
It goes to show how Spurs are run because literally, it's money for Daniel Levy. That's why they go for top 4. That's why when they had the address to Spurs fans, they touted 13 out of 14 seasons in European football because it's more money in their pocket and they see that as success, our owners. We're a football club last in our owners' eyes and it fucking pisses me off. Anyway, I'll carry on swearing now, so just go to somebody else.
Well, I don't want to.
Who we're gonna go to now? I think we're done with the City of London. Now, before we go to the 2 finals, let's read the super chats, and then we're just gonna give Neeks 2 minutes and Vater 2 minutes to speak on their wins, and then we just end the video. AJ said won the Champions League 2 seasons ago.
This guy said 2 minutes.
Neeks, I told you ain't the main character, and you know that. And Vater, I told you ain't the main character either.
This guy said 2 minutes. 2 minutes though. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 minutes. Happy now?
I'll take 1 minute. He can have 4.
Okay, fair enough.
4 minutes. That's like a 2-2.
You need 7 minutes, bro.
2-2. Yeah, that's the result between United and Sevilla. Won the Champions League 2 seasons ago, finished 3rd last season, and spent 650 million on players this season, only to be fighting relegation. This is the biggest failure in the history of football.
It's true.
Andrew, you can't just wave. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, so what? Move on.
AJ, that reaction by itself, I think you got your money's worth. Big up to you, my brother. Domo, he says, Sam, hear me out on Mason Mount. Mason might just turn up for Liverpool. He got something to prove. I can feel it. I will hear you out. He can run, right?
Yes.
And he's proper Chelsea, and he's English.
Proper Pompey.
He has homegrown quota. That is what you are going to tell me. Now, tell me, I asked you back, tell me one good football thing he does. Does he pass at an elite level? Does he dribble at an elite
You
level?
don't need elite
Does he
level.
shoot at an elite level? Does he have anything at an elite level? Does he cross at an elite level? Does he even occupy spaces positionally at an elite level? All this.
He's got a decent corner. He got a decent corner on him.
That's
Okay,
rubbish, Leaks. It's not even.
You know who
decent
else got a
corners.
decent
It's not
corner?
even decent.
James Ward-Prowse. Let's go call
Yeah.
Southampton and
Oh,
let's go
man.
Get him in as well. Get him in as well.
You know,
So
to all the
unappreciative.
people, let me just tell you, all the rival fans want us to sign Mount, and the Chelsea fans are on 2 knees begging us to sign him. That's a bad sign. So you can hear me out on that. AJ says Lampard tarnishing his Chelsea legacy, City legend. I love the fact City fans love to throw away this whole like City legend thing. But you know what it is, AJ? This is just a sign your club is Tim Pot, because it's very easy to be a City legend. I'm gonna be so real with you. Like, you have 2 good seasons, you're a City legend. Like,
He's not a City
my
legend,
fan base is busy discussing if you know certain players who actually won stuff are legends or not, and your one's like, ooh, City legend. African Giant says, if you really want to objective and deep it, our downfall can be attributed to a series of unfortunate mistiming since the takeover. Simple as that. I look, I like the way you worded that, because the very smart thing to use the word unfortunate. But I agree with Igal, and I know Igal and the Chelsea fans have a negative relationship because he supports Arsenal. But my thing is very simple, and I said this on previous streams, and Winter Surfer agreed with me. They didn't do enough subtraction. They did a whole lot of extra addition. They needed to get rid of Havertz. They needed to get rid of Mounts. They needed to get rid of the ones who are actually crap first, and then build on that step by step. Meaning, I think they would have been a lot better if they just signed, for example, Augusto as a right back cover, signed a maybe, let's say, a Mudryk and an Enzo, and then got like one other guy with them. Just 4 signings, slowly ease them into it. That would have been better for them than signing 15 players. That's the problem.
Yes.
Selection says Klopp been on par or slightly better than Chelsea. That's cap. He's been a lot better than Chelsea. You know, let's not sit here and do this. We are
It's like a step. It's like a step.
Come back. No, that's actually 3 steps.
It's a step.
Come back when you're in the top half of the table, brother. So
Mr. 8. Mr. 8.
Hey, I don't speak to teams.
Come on. This is the worst. This is the worst, like, top team in a decade.
I agree. That's what I call a top 4 panel. Big up. I can't lie. Hamza been getting a lot of hate. Racing.
Yeah, they don't need to. They don't need to hate on.
Yeah, he's been dunking on the Arsenal fans. No, but Vater, you have to understand from their perspective, he's like ruining their life over the last week. You know,
Hamza
yeah, but he's
Vater
like,
8 days in a row of Hamza chatting shit on your club.
I know, but Hamza's like Rambo. He's won versus an army, so he's got to do what he's got to do.
Rambo wins in them fights, so that's why they're upset.
Is that Hamza in his Man City shirt or his Arsenal shirt? I just have to ask.
He's in his Man City.
I just have to
Harm
ask.
already done. Why sack Potter mid-season? Hey, I tried to defend Potter. They all fought me. I said it's not his fault you gave him 700 players to work with. They didn't want to listen. Now, the end of the show, guys. We're just gonna give each one of the winners a quick segment to just tell us why you won before we end the video. Everyone watching us right now, there's still 300 people watching us. Slap the likes, subscribe, love for the love. Big up to Qusay Selection, African Giant, Domo, Zach, FB, Julius, AJ, Madridista, Messi, FC, Momo, and Sultan for the super chats. Gracias, amigos. Thank you to every single one of you guys. Most importantly, you all like, subscribe. The like target is 200 likes. We're approaching that. So slap the like button, subscribe. So let me go first to Neeks. He said he's only going to give himself 1 minute. So there's 60 seconds on the clock, and then we're going to go to Vater, and then we're going to end it. Neeks, talk to the people, bro.
Bruno Fernandes masterclass. Bruno Fernandes masterclass. Without a goal, without an assist. I mean, that was one of the best performances I've seen him give us. I think he's been brilliant this season, and in the recent weeks, especially with a few injuries, he's had to drop back into a different position, a position that he didn't even play at Sporting, even though he played at Sporting as an 8 sometimes. He's been at times our deepest midfielder against multiple oppositions in multiple competitions, and he's growing from strength to strength, which gives us different options. Sabitzer goes out, Eriksen comes in, and we're able to kind of rotate between them two going into the 10 or dropping deeper, and it's just beautiful to see. Yes, it's not in the Forest, but we go to the City ground where a lot of teams have struggled this season, and on the back of Spurs, Newcastle dropping points, I was like, are we going to fall into that same trap? But we absolutely dominated them. Anthony got a goal and finally got a Premier League assist, which he's been scoring not bare goals, but we're scoring goals and not getting any assists. I'm glad to see him getting assists. We just need to take more chances. There's been a few games, Everton, Sevilla today, the 3 in a row where we scored 2 goals in each, and we haven't when we really should have scored 3, 4, 5. Obviously, it cost us in the first leg midweek. We need to make sure that we are taking these chances going forward because we're still in the fight for 2 more competitions. And it's not going to be easy to win either of them. But as long as we play like we did today, get more clinical, I think we got a chance. So, yeah, man, big up the team. Got a good win. I saw when Hussein gave me the call to come on, I was like, I just pray my team won because last time after we drew 0-0 with Southampton, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But today, yeah, we're good, man. Big up Bruno, my captain.
Longer than 60
Okay. Vater Games. I hate you. And I'm going to tell you why I hate you first. Because you took away the one thing that I had this whole year. The one thing that I had is that damn goals record, and now that's gone as well. So, I hate you, Vater, and I hate your club, and I hope you get relegated. But you did beat a team. Who did even beat Leicester 3-1? What? Explain to the people your overall feeling as Arsenal bottled it twice in a row. Go on.
I'll do that. I want to shout out Neeks. I mean, great response, great bounce back from Harry Maguire after what happened in the previous game to the performance today. I think it's good showing because you're gonna have to rely on him throughout the rest of the year. Now, with regards to City, that goal record, Hussam. I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous because this goal record that Haaland's about to have. It's got to be with the trophy. Unlike your record, goal scoring record, there was no hardware. So Haaland to get this goal scoring record with hardware is.
Don't shake your head, Andrew. That's a shit point.
No, it's spot on.
He got the goals record with Milner and Henderson. This guy's getting it with KDB and Bernardo.
Now you're downplaying. Okay, now.
So now you don't want to do context. Okay, I remember.
The hardware with the record is what I want. Let me say this. The hardware with the record is what I want. And again, I've always said this. It's us. It's what we do. It's us playing our style of football. It's us looking at the remainder of the season and deal with what we have to do. Like Neeks mentioned, multiple competitions. We got the league. We got FA. We got Champions League. One game at a time. And that level of laser focus attention is why I'm so confident in our squad, because everybody's got to be alert. Everyone's got to be ready. There's no one week game where you're like mulling and stressing and going over all the mistakes and then things fester and then you're trying to play your way out of it the next week. No, these guys are responding every 4 days. I'm so amped up for this. Now, I did not expect West Ham to do nothing. I didn't expect them to do anything against Arsenal. I thought it was 3 points. I was getting alerts on my phone. Whoa. Oh, 1-0 Arsenal. Okay, all right. 2-0. Ah, this game's a write-off. What the heck? Left it alone. Did not expect anything until my guys are texting me, yo, West Ham just scored 1. What? West Ham just tied it up. Whoa, West Ham. Can you do something for me? I did not expect them to do anything. Drop points 2 weeks in a row. We said this. Arsenal fans didn't want to listen. Talk to Liverpool. Remember what winning this league's about, what fighting for this league is about. They said, nah, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to win a 2-horse race. Well, listen, you should have gone to them for advice because what they would have told you is everything gets decided in April and May. The great start, you blew out of the blocks. Neeks, a track man, you were flying out of the blocks. But Neeks will tell you, no, you still got to close in on that finish line and dip properly. And I'm confident in City dipping at that line and getting this third title. Whether we get the other 2 cups that we're in, we'll have to wait and see. But I am so confident in winning this league because there's pressure applied.
Don't refer to the Champions League as a cup. Have shame, Vater. Come on.
Okay, all right. You know what I mean.
Don't refer to it as just a cup. That's
right.
That's
the
yes, trophy.
It is the
Cup.
Okay, Neeks, just because you got 3.
But I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean to be a little too boastful, a little too confident. I have been doing a lot of push-ups lately, so my chest is out. I want to say this: we're going to be playing this till the very end, and I know this, Arsenal fans. I'm seeing this. there's a calmness that you see amongst the City fans as we're going to do this. We're going to get it done because we've been there. Neeks, not to trigger you, but this history, this confidence, this DNA, it's going back to when we had the Aguero. It goes back to then. We're
Lucky.
But
Hold
that chasing, that
I
closing out the
celebrated that
season,
day. Hold that.
winning in that last minute, not only back then, but also last season. We know that it goes to the end of the season. We're calm.
Hold that, Hussam. Hold that. Last season.
Hey, listen, you guys are saying hold that, but Vater himself will tell you this. If City win this league, it makes my league title look 100 times better. Hey, I'm good, bro.
Oh, I know. That's why you lot are really celebrating.
You know I am trying. You know my league title looks 100 times better now. I'm
It
being
does,
really
it does.
sorry.
Now, there's still a lot
It makes Man United's three-peat look a hell of a lot.
Mate, you ain't defended your league title. Don't talk about free. Don't talk about free. You defend your league title first, mate.
Bro,
You ain't even defended league
I'm
title.
saying it how it is, bro. Tell me I'm
So
lying, bro.
Let me just say this. Let me just
Lost
say
to
this.
Wayne Bridge. Sorry, Vater. Sorry, go on.
The fact that we've been ahead of you guys this whole entire season, and you guys are close to being solidified as the greatest team in Premier League history if you win the Champions League, Premier League and FA Cup and do it in a three-peat, just goes to show that everyone who's been trying to belittle what Arsenal's been doing this season is joking. Because to keep up with this Man City team is a testament to how good they are. They're really good.
So you agree with Gary Neville that finishing second, it will still be a great season for Arsenal? You finally agree with Gary Neville?
No, I still view it as if we don't win the league, you can't view it.
My bad.
No, I would say this though, and I don't.
In the same breath, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's an absolute failure." Like
I would never say it's an absolute failure. But if we're gonna do apples to apples, the reason why, possibly, if it does happen, you guys fall short, right? You are second. Your second finish won't be touted, won't be rated as high as Liverpool's. Because
I don't care about that.
No, I know you don't. But if you just want to point out seasons to seasons, all you're focusing on the league. That's all you're doing. But Liverpool were in the Champions League, and last season they were pursuing
and
the
won it.
No, but Vader, that's not my point.
Short. No, I know, but I'm just saying.
You didn't win the Champions League last season.
To have fallen short,
18, 19
pursuing all of that, it's very different in terms of context. It's not apples to apples. It really isn't.
Guess what?
But
just like last year.
But you know what else isn't apples to apples? Like where we have been in the previous season, the previous 2 seasons, the previous 3 seasons. You know what I mean? We just got here, man. We just got started, bro. We just got started. You know, if we don't do it this season, we'll run it back. Next season, we'll be in a lot better state. You know what I'm saying?
Run what back? You better take this opportunity this season, bro.
No, listen, that's what you said to me about getting in top 4 last season.
I didn't say anything. I just said you bottled it. I said you bottled it.
Okay, like Alan said, if it doesn't apply to you, then you know what I'm saying. But everyone from all of your fan bases were all saying, that was our best chance to get top 4 last season.
Win it this season or else. Win it this season or else. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Harry Kane's cooking outside. Harry Kane's cooking outside.
And look, just to wrap up, this is the one thing I want to say. The reason why Vater's spitting, and this goes back to the whole conversation regarding the Europa League. Look, 18-19, we didn't win the league. We lost it by a point, but we won the Champions League. So, like, it's genuinely a completely different scenario. Had Arsenal went and won the Europa League this season, then I think that conversation would have been a whole lot different. Final super chat before we wrap up. Haaland smashing Salah's record in his first season. To be fair, Salah came in first season and smashed it as well. So he's only doing what Mo did. And Mo did it with Milner. Mo did it with Henderson. Mo did it with Lovren. Mo did it with Matip. Mo did it with Simon Mignolet. That's who Mo did it with. He didn't do it with Bernardo Silva and KDB and the greatest Prem team.
Haaland's playing like 20 minutes a game, Sam. He's playing like 20 minutes a game. Give him a break.
Haaland's not stack padding in the 90th minute of game.
Can we admit something?
Stat padding? When did we use stat pad? Name one stat pad.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying Haaland's not.
If you want to talk about stat padding, Haaland's the one stat padding.
This show's not about Liverpool. But the reality is, if Man City win, you said it makes your league title look better. The reason why it makes your league title look better is because you massively underachieved, based on the fact that.
Tell him.
Based on the fact that you were up there with City consistently, getting that amount of points you did, how great you guys were to only finish with 1 league title in the whole Klopp era. is an underachievement. Hence why a lot of Liverpool fans don't want Arsenal to win it on their first try, because it would be like, how on earth is Arsenal winning it on their first try?
How good is Klopp really? How good is that's what you want to say? How good is Klopp really?
That's
I'm not here
this is
questioning
exactly.
Klopp. I'm merely pointing out that you would have considered an underachievement.
First try.
100%. Where's your gold medal? Yes, that's what I thought.
Anyway,
big up to you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Premier League review show. This is 2 hours already. This ain't a movie. Bring Steven Spielberg up in here, bro. That was a wild ass show. Make sure you slap the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. There's still 275 people watching us. Big up to Qusay Selection, African Giant, Domo, Zach, FB, Julius, AJ, Madridista, Messi FC, Momo, and Sultan for the super chats. Big up to you guys. We're approaching 200 likes, which is our target. So slap up the like button. Subscribe to this football. Remember, we got as well. He came in January. You fucking shameless bastard, AJ, man. Anyway, but thank you for the super chat. Anyway, we're gonna go around the lovely panel. I'm gonna let you know where you can find them. Let me go to Alan first, because he's always itching to shout out his channel. He cannot live without shouting at his channel. So go on, Alan. Where can people find you?
I don't understand what you're on about. Why put me full screen? Yeah, you can find me. Subscribe to my channel. Time added on. The link was in the chat, but it went missing. But yeah, time added on. Everything Premier League. And also to finish on, if Arsenal don't win the Premier League this season from this position, it's a failure.
Okay. Alan, would you like me to post the link again so you are happy?
Yeah, you can post the link again. Go on and you can do it.
So this is the link, guys. This is the link.
Subscribe to Time Added On. You absolutely.
Okay. So now that we've given Alan his moment, Igal, where can people find you, bro?
Eagle Talks Football right there. And yeah, man, Arsenal made me feel sick today. I've been feeling sick all day. Do me a favor, make me feel a little happier. Go subscribe.
Big up, my brother. GK, my guy, welcome back. Where can people find you? You're on mute.
You're on mute for the.
Finally.
Yeah. Gunner King 14 on Twitter. Doing a lot more on there. Same thing on TikTok. Co-founding member of the Armory TV on YouTube. That can also be found on Twitter. Doing a lot of stuff with Deluded Guna. I'm going to be on a show with him tomorrow as well. Jump on AFTV as well sometimes. So just it's a bit of here, there, everywhere. And the last thing that I want to say in response to what Alan said is, if you've never seen your team win the league and never will, you shouldn't be talking about the disappointment of not winning league titles.
That type of schoolboy shit doesn't bother me. Don't come at me trying to deflect and stuff like that. It doesn't work here. Just carry on.
Okay, guys, let's not fight at the end.
Just saying.
We all gonna cut.
Doesn't work with me.
God, I love the fact he just did a low blow at the end. I love it. LFC for the double. Keep posting them links, brother. That's Igad's channel right there. Andrew, my brother, the Winter Surfer. I'm probably gonna see him again after Chelsea lose, after Real Madrid. So where can people find you?
You can find me waiting for May 29th to happen, because that's when the league season's over. Apart from that, follow me here. I'll tweet out what I'm on. But more importantly, like the video on this one, share it, and subscribe to this channel, please. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, Andrew, my brother. Thank you so much. Neeks, my guy, where can the people find you?
Neek Sports, YouTube, Twitter, Neek Sports Insta on Insta. Lakers in 5. I adjusted that. Lakers in 5. And Kane, we'll see you next season.
Yes, big up, Neeks. Vater, I think you're trying to show the people something, so let them know, my brother.
Yo, thank you so much. Easy search YouTube, Vader Games TV. I'm Vader Games TV. I do a show every Sunday, 9 p.m. CA Intelligent Agendas. Week 31, we do a review, we do a preview. Check out the channel, subscribe, and thanks for having me on, man.
Always welcome, Vater. And as always, remember, he's Canadian, not American, you uncultured people. So, love for the love, people. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to be back tomorrow, inshallah, for the Liverpool Leeds watch along, where I'm possibly most likely going to be a meme again. But love for the love. And see you tomorrow, inshallah. Peace.
Come on, Leeds.